Haven't done a video in a while, and I know I've been busy. I just not filming anything. I smell smoke out here. Somebody's got a fire going. It's really smoky. Out the back over there, I see smoke. Yeah, you can see it up in the trees up there. There's smoke. Anyways, look over my garage, you can see the smoke. It's 85 degrees out today, August 30th, 2024. I'll show you what I've been up to. I've been doing a whole bunch of different projects. Got the fiberglass out today because I'm putting another coat of fiberglass on some of the rougher areas on this thing. This is where the big crack was across the top and in here. And I had boards inside, reinforcing it, getting the contour back. And then I put the first coat of fiberglass on. I just put the second coat on the outside. And that's all I'm gonna do on the outside. There were some other spots here too where there were some little pinholes. Some of them had the screws. And I think these were screw holes. I filled them in with panel bonding epoxy. And some of the areas I've sanded down the enamel gel coat too far, so I put a layer of fiberglass over that. So that's going to be good for this side. And then when I flip it over, I'll reinforce this on the inside as well too, with at least 2 more layers. And I think that should do it with all the reinforcing steel I've got on the inside. I did that last fall. And this side's not too bad. But this is the patches that they did on. They're great big thick patches, so I like to sand that down a little bit, level it out, like this one here too. It's just like it's huge. So I'll be sanding this side down, and I'm not sure if that's a crack there or not. It might be, but I'm gonna probably reinforce that one. This side's not too bad. And then I can get this painted because I wanna use it next week. Back in the motorhome. I don't think I put that in the last video, but I got the backsplash done there with that same tile as well too as the bathroom. And I got the final little piece of trim on either side there. That's in. And in the bathroom here, this backsplash with the trim in here. So that's done. Looks way better. It looks better than when these things come new, because they just come with this shitty wallpaper on here. The new lights in, new fan motor, and yeah, that's it for the motorhome for now. Then I built this set of stairs here, pressure treated wood, 3 feet wide, and the final step in the condo is 6.5 inches. Each step is 6.5 inches, approximately. This is up at Grand Bend. There's a condo complex up there. My sister bought one, and very poorly made. Cheaply made. They're nice, but cheaply made. And all of the condo units, I think there's like 28 or 35 of them or so up there. They all still have the original construction workers stairs into the house. So you go into the double car garage, and they just make the stairs out of whatever scrap wood's laying around. Just some boards slapped together, not even cut out like for the riser and the run, just boards stacked up. And all the units are like that still. They're all like that. Only a couple people have made their own, and like my sister made her own. And the other ones are just 2 steps. So the first step's like 10.5 inches. Then I think it's like 8 or 9 inches. And then the final step into the house. So it really should be 3 steps for a 25.5 inch doorstep. And the 4th step being the threshold. So I made one of these. And the neighbors may all want one as well too. And I put some anti-slip strips on there. You don't need that, but I did that, so maybe I'll sell a bunch more of them up there. I don't know. It's just a little hobbies on the side here. And Because at my sister's condo up there, we reversed the staircase, me and my buddy. We do little rentals on the side. The staircase to the basement was going this way into the basement from the back hall, and we made it go this way, completely reversed it. So when you come in the front door, you have the entrance to the staircase to the basement on your left. And there's 2 bedrooms, a rec room down there. That way they can hear the grandkids, or anybody downstairs from their bedroom or the main floor. Otherwise, you got to go through the kitchen, the dining room, the laundry room. Right by the back garage door is the stairs that go down to the basement. You would never hear them down there. So most of the units, it is right off the front door. So that's what I've been doing the last month. And on this bike, I should redo the video that I did, and I will make an addition to it, because I tried to balance these carbs there last year. Never ran quite right, because carb number 1, the floats, leaking needle and seat. Even though they're all new needles and seat, it's leaking somehow. So I'm going to pull these carbs off here right shortly, probably this week. And it's been 40 years since I worked at the dealership. So I've kind of forgotten things. And every bike's different, because we were a multi-dealership. We were Honda, Yamaha, and Harley. And most of them, you can just stick your balancers right on the intake spigots right here off the intake boots. The Hondas, with the aluminum flanges coming off the heads, there'd be a threaded screw you'd have to take off, and then you would use threaded balancer tubes like this. This is one type. There's a couple different types. The other ones are silver machined, much better. I should have had them ready for this video. Yeah, they look like this. There's short ones and long ones. Longer ones reach to the inside. And you screw these in. Then you put your vacuum hoses on here. But on these bikes, on the YICSs, it's the Yamaha, and I can't remember what it all stands for, but the vacuum ports are all balanced through this. There's a chamber underneath all of these that link all of the intake manifolds together, and that's the chamber right here, and it goes right straight across the whole bike. I can take this bolt off this side and the other side, and you can see right through it, and it balances, smoothens out the idle and running. And when I balance these carbs, I didn't block that off. So when I put my vacuum tubes on here, I'm actually drawing a little bit of vacuum from the other cylinders at the same time. That's a no-no. And there's debates on the Yamaha Seika websites about whether they need to block that off or not. Some guys say, no, you don't. And other people say, yeah, you do. Now this is worrisome. What am I seeing here? I hope that was just off my... That wasn't off of here. I think that was just off my caulking gun, and not the repair on this tank, because I didn't use that shit on there. Nothing's leaking. So you can't get the original tool anymore. It used to be a tube you'd slide in here. It would slide right straight across, and then you pull the lever down, and it expands a rubber seal on the inside of that tube. So it expands it and then seals off each port. You can't get that anywhere. I'm not even sure if we ever did have one at Motorsport there. I'm not sure. Probably did. I just can't remember. And there's a group online at the Yamaha Seika forum that makes them. Now he wants about, I think it's $60 US plus $30 shipping and taxes. It's over $100, probably 120 or 30 bucks Canadian. But I measured this tube that goes across here, and it's 25/64 of an inch. But I stick different size drill bits in there, and the 25/64 is a nice snug fit across there. So I ordered a piece of hardened rod. This was $22 of 25/64. And I did try to stick it in there the other day, and it only went in about that far, an inch, because that hole is carboned up. It's all black and carbony. So I'm going to pull out this bolt here and the other side, and I've got a gun cleaner with some, like a lubricant like WD-40, something more than that though, like a anti-seize lubricant, and clean that all out. Brake cleaner, clean it out. And but I think I'm going to wait till I get the carbs all off, and see where that balancer hole is anyways on each of the tubes, and make sure that it's going to block off those passages way tight enough. I think a little tiny wee bit of an air leak wouldn't bother balancing the carbs, but I may have to put some grease on it, thicker grease, so that there's no vacuum leak. Or what I might do is put this in my lathe. Here, I'm all lost for words today. I might put this in my lathe, and when I slide this in, when the carbs are off, and if I can see the rod or where the hole is, the balancer hole, I'll mark it, the 4 of them, and then I might make this into a lab seal. And a lab seal is basically 3 rings. I'll cut 3 rings on either side of the marking. And the purpose of a lab seal is to drop the pressure each time it passes the cutaway, the ring. So there'd be 1 cutaway, 2 cutaway, 3 cutaway. You could even do 4, but 3 is enough to drop the pressure pretty much down to 0 if there's any sort of a vacuum leak. So I'm going to read a little bit more about that. I may not need to do that. This is going in so snug and so tight that I'm worried about cracking the aluminum, pressing it in there. That's why I want to clean it out really good. So that's my next project. That's where I'm at with that. This one, I've contacted the owner, and I'd like to get it out of here. Needs a head gasket, and I think it's going to need a valve job. This thing's got just about 84,000 kilometers on it, which is over 50,000 miles, which is quite a bit on these bikes. So I know at 100,000 K, these things need a top end rebuild completely, and this thing's got 84,000. So I think it's clapped out, and somebody's put on, a loud header on it, 2-into-1 header. Probably didn't jet the carbs right, and probably burned the valves a little bit, because it's getting terrible compression. I had it running and had to rev the hell out of it to get it to run. So I believe that's clapped out. It's going to need too much work for me to fix that up anyways. To charge the guy, I don't want to charge him too much, but I don't want to spend a ton of time on it either. Okay, that's where I'm at right now. Sabo River at the Pineries. A wild turkey just landed in that tree over there. You can hear it clucking. You fish under the water there. I think that's about 50 degrees out, or 10 degrees Celsius. Went camping this past week, and the furnace, it got cold one night, so really cold, and I think it was down in the 40s. Luckily we had two Super Duty sleeping bags in there. The furnace, the fan was coming on. It ignited a little bit, but very little was coming out of the ductworks. It kept kicking off and on. I figured for sure there's going to be a mouse nest in there. And that's the only way to clean the ductworks out. I'm going to blow this out and vacuum it anyways. I don't see anything in it. But when I pulled the furnace out, there's my my bird box. I don't know if I had that on a video or not. But this is for the chicken layers, laying eggs in. I just got to cut the holes in the ends in here, but I'm going to wait till I put it in the chicken coop because there's studs in the way. I'm going to move the studs right here. I'm going to put two studs in, one here and one here. Got to do that today too. It just never ends. It just never freaking ends. Anyways, I got the furnace out, and here's what I found. I found a whole bunch of this in there. Actually, I cleaned it all up. I already vacuumed it all up. And I thought, you know, I should put this in the video. Even though I'm not even showing you how to do it. But it was stuck in it was stuck in here. This is the fan for the to blow the flame, the heat, into the heat exchanger. And then this squirrel fan here is to blow the fresh air, well, heated air, warm air, into the motorhome. So this fan here was all plugged up. You can see some of the remnants of the nest in there. It was turning, but not fast enough because there's a sail switch. That's a safety switch there, but I believe that's the sail switch right there. You can't really see it. But the fan needs a certain speed to blow that sail switch open. That's why they call it a sail switch, and then it'll ignite the flame. If you don't have enough speed, it's not going to ignite it and have a back pressure with propane. So that's what the problem was with this. So I just blew it all out, cleaned it all out. Going to put it back together, and that's the igniter right there. But where did I see the... Yeah, right. This is where the nest was, all over top of the what do you call that? This is the switch that normally goes on these things. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I've changed so many of them in furnaces. Can't think of it. But this is where this whole thing was solid, packed mud around there for the mud wasps, I believe they're called. Solid packed mud, so it wasn't getting a good spark there for sure. So this is ready to go back together. I'll think of that name in a second. So that's what I'm doing there today. I got some paint for the boat, for the canoe. My wife wants it green, dark. She thinks it'll cover up a lot of the patches, but I don't know. I thought I'd put a couple stripes in it. That'll take your eyes off of the rough spots in it. Still got to sand it all down and then paint it. I'm going to paint the inside RV white with some speckles in it. And then I got some extra RV paint for the motorhome. That stuff's not cheap. 35 bucks a quart in Canada. Okay, let me get this back together. Thermocoupler. That's what that's called. And there's the sail switch. And then there's a high limit switch too. If it gets too hot, it shuts it off. But I believe that's at the back. Where's it right? I think it's right there. Should be high limit switch there. It's like a diode. Okay, I'm going to get a drink. Just heard a light. Hot air coming out of there. Had to beat the gas system first by you light the stove. Keep clicking it, so you get some gas coming through there. There we go. Let that run for a minute. I had to raise this up because I put a taller fridge in there about 5 years ago. And this was sitting on top. It was really hard to reach the on off switch underneath it. So I just raised that up. Now I'm really blowing a lot of air. Should be blowing more air than that. Let it run for a while. You can smell all the dust burning. Monday lunchtime-ish. What does it say there? 70 degrees, I think, about. No, 76, 78. I started another project. This video is going to be a hodgepodge. I'm going to finally replace this green plastic roofing. It's got cracks and holes in it all over. You can kind of see one up there. The daylight, it leaks water up there. A bunch of different places. I don't know how old it could be, 20, 30, 40 years old. But where it's really starting to leak is on my table saw, and it's the whole surface has gone rusty. You can see another hole up there, and there, all over the place. And there's the eave troughs over there. Took that off this morning. There's the fascia board, all rotted out, wet and rotted. I've been putting this off every year since I've owned this house. 9 years. Keep telling the neighbors I'm gonna do it, but other things always come up. So I'm gonna peel all this off, probably starting tomorrow. My buddy Paul's gonna help me. And we're going to sheet it with plywood. I think it's 1/2 inch or 5/8 roofing particle board. And then I think I'm going to put steel roofing on it. I might put some rollout ice and water shield on it first. And see what happens from there. Another expense. Haven't painted the canoe yet. Oh, they're gonna shut the video down with that on there. Yeah. Haven't painted that yet. I got to paint everything for it, but well, I got Paul for a couple days. I'm gonna get him to help me. Gotta pull out all those screws. Hundreds of them, probably 500 of them. Okay, that's it for now. Oh yeah, I'm driving my son's Corvette a little bit, but it's a piece of shit. Oh, his license plate's there. I don't want to show you his license plate. Probably already saw it. It's a 99 convertible. Maybe they all are. Engine lights on. It's a 6-speed. Shifts like shit. I'm tempted to take the shifter apart and lube it all up because it's so stiff you can't even shift gears. It's ridiculous. Drive. Whoa, bees all over me here. Because he borrowed my Kia to go to Ottawa because it's cheaper on fuel, easier to drive than this thing, because this thing's a piece of shit. You gotta hang on it with 2 hands driving it down the side roads because it tracks so stiff, hits a bump and it's gone. Anyways. Well, I'm going to end this video now, but it's Friday the 13th. I got the 2x6 inch new fascia board on. The other stuff was 1x6, and this is a lot beefier, stronger for the plywood to screw into and the eave troughs. So Monday, hopefully we get all the plywood on. There's all the plywood, that's ready to go, and we'll tackle that. Hopefully it's not going to be too hot. That's it for now for this video. I just got back from Port Dover. I'm a little bit red, I think. Venture ran perfect. It ran beautiful. But there and back's about 5.5 hours of driving on a bike. And I'm beat. I'm too old for this. I can't do that anymore. Too much pain. I wanted to drive to BC and that on my bike. No. So I'm past my prime now. I can't do that. I'd be in a lot of pain unless I was on a 3-wheeler. Okay, I'm gonna have another video out here right shortly, maybe a couple of them. I'll put some video on for the Port Dover Friday the 13th motorcycle rally, and I got a couple projects in the garage I got to finish up, so hopefully I have another video within a week. Thanks for watching.